Your competitor's blog about 5 safety tips for pipeline construction has 3 views. All employees. Meanwhile, I'm about to show you how we got a turbine repair company 10,000 visitors per month with content that actually converts. Nobody searches for industrial turbine content. Pipeline construction is too boring for content marketing. B2B companies don't need blogs. Bull. Every one of our boring industry clients thought content wouldn't work. Now, they're generating 50 plus leads per month from content alone. I'm James Kotz from Illumination Marketing, and today I'm showing you exactly how to turn the world's most boring industries into content machines that print money. If you think your industry is too boring for content, this video will change your business forever. Here's what everyone gets wrong about boring industries. You think nobody searches for your stuff. Wrong. Let's look at real search volume. Pipeline inspection services, 260 searches a month. Gas turbine maintenance schedule, 20 searches a month. Industrial steam cleaning, 40 searches a month. Emergency generator repair, 210 searches per month. Your problem isn't that nobody searches, it's that you're creating the wrong content. Here's what I call the blog post graveyard. Welcome to our website. Happy holidays from company name. We're excited to announce, or company picnic photos. This isn't content, it's narcissism. Meanwhile, your competitors are desperately searching for answers to expensive problems, and you're showing them your company picnic. So let's talk about who's actually reading boring content. Operations managers with a $10 million problem. A plant supervisor at 2 a.m. with equipment down. A procurement officer comparing vendors. Or engineering researching solutions. Or even safety director avoiding disasters. These people don't want entertainment. They want answers fast. So here's what they're actually searching. Turbine vibration analysis. Pipeline leak detection method. Industrial boiler efficiency loss. Emergency repair services 24/7. And preventive maintenance schedules. Do you notice something? These aren't fun searches. They're expensive problem searches. And when your turbine fails, you're losing $50,000 per hour. You don't care if the content is boring. You care if it saves your ass. So here's the framework that works for every boring industry. And it's called the problem first formula. 1, the expensive problem. What keeps them up at night? 2, the cost of inaction. What happens if they don't fix it? 3, the solution overview. How to fix it. 4, the implementation steps, the detailed process. 5, when to call the pros, your services. So let's look at a few examples of good and bad blog. So an example in the pipeline construction. Bad, the history of pipeline construction. Good, why pipeline joints fail after 5 years and how to prevent it. Bad, our pipeline services. Good, emergency pipeline repair, hour-by-hour response guide. Bad, pipeline safety tips. Good, the 2 million pipeline mistake that happens every summer. See the difference? One is a brochure, the other is a lifeline. The kind of lifeline that positions your company as the expert to help them fix a massive problem. Here's the exact content matrix we deploy for boring industries. 40% problem solution content. 5 signs your turbine bearings are failing. Why steam traps fail in winter. Or pipeline corrosion. Early warning sign. You want to target people with immediate problems. 30% cost ROI content. The true cost of turbine downtime calculator. Pipeline repair versus replacement analysis. And maintenance costs, predictive versus reactive. You want to target decision makers justifying budgets. 20% technical guides, step-by-step vibration analysis. Pipeline pressure testing procedures, boiler efficiency optimization guide. You want to target technical staff researching. Purchase decisions often flow up the chain of command, so help make the technical staff the ones who save the day. And then 10% are case studies. How we saved XYZ Corporation $2 million, the 48-hour emergency repair project, and 0 downtime maintenance implementation. You're typing to provide proof for skeptics. We want to minimize the risk for those considering purchase decisions. Every piece targets someone in the buying process. Nothing is random. Boring industries have the best keywords. Why? No competition. Here's the keyword reality. For Best Restaurants Houston, there are 10,000 plus bloggers competing for this title and this keyword. For Industrial Turbine Alignment Services in Houston, maybe 3 competitors? So let's talk about where to find keywords. The first place we always ask our clients to look is at customer service tickets. Every question is a keyword, and usually one with high intent, such as, how often should we inspect? Or what causes? Or how much does? Or when should we replace? When someone asks one of these questions, they're not browsing. They either have a problem right now or they're trying to prevent one. That's bottom of the funnel, high intent traffic. Number 2, the next place we want to look is at sales call transcripts. What do prospects actually ask? Are they looking for technical specifications, compliance questions, cost comparisons, timeline concerns? Record your sales calls, then mine them for gold. Your sales team hears the same objections, the same technical questions, and the same how long does this take concerns every single day. Those aren't just objections, they're pre-qualified keywords from people who are ready to buy. 3, industry forums, Reddit. Look at things like r/industrial maintenance or r/engineering. Trade forums, they are real problems from real people. This is where your customers confess their problems anonymously. They won't tell you on a sales call, but they'll spill everything on strangers to Reddit. Go to r/industrial maintenance right now and search urgent or emergency or help. You'll find plant managers at 3 a.m. trying to figure out why their compressor is making such a weird noise, engineers debating the best method for pipeline pressure testing, and maintenance supervisors asking if they're getting ripped off on repair quotes. Every single one of these threads is a goldmine content and keyword opportunity. Number 4, the fourth place we look is competitor service pages. What services do they list? Each service equals 5 to 10 content pieces, if not hundreds, that you can use. The 5th place we look is industry regulations because every regulation equals content opportunity. As an example, OSHA Pipeline Safety Compliance Guide, EPA emission standards for turbines, DOT pipeline inspection requirements. You're sitting on hundreds of keywords, you just don't see them. And this is independent of more expensive tools like Ahrefs or even SEMrush that can help you find more keyword opportunity. All right, let's talk about how to actually structure this boring content so that it converts. Here's the structure. First, your hook. The first 50 words needs to hit them with the expensive problem immediately. None of this, welcome to our blog garbage. Just jump straight into the pain. Something like, a single failed turbine bearing costs $500,000 in downtime. Here's how to spot failure before it happens. Boom, they're hooked. Next, build your authority. Give them a reason to trust you're not some blogger recycling Wikipedia. After 2,000 plus turbine repairs, we've identified these 5 warning signs. See what I did there? Credibility in one sentence. Then comes the value delivery. And this is where most companies chicken out. They hold back the good stuff because they're afraid of giving away too much. Don't. Give them the real actionable information, such as specific temperatures or exact measurements or real timelines or actual costs. The more specific you are, the more they trust you and the more likely they'll realize this is harder than they thought and call you anyway. Finally, we go to the soft pitch. And notice I said soft. While these checks help, professional inspection catches 40% more issues. Contact us for ... You see, you're not begging, you're offering the next logical step. Now, length matters in boring industries. For problem awareness, we need an article of 800 to 1,000 words. For solution comparison, we're looking for 1,500 to 2,000 words. For technical guides, 2,500 to 3,000 words. And for ultimate guides, we're looking at 4,000 plus words. So why so long? Because boring industries need depth. Surface level content fails. When someone's making a $500,000 decision, they're not trusting a 500-word blog post. They want proof you actually know your Look, creating content is only 50% of the battle. Distribution is the other 50%. And this is where most boring industry companies completely drop the ball. So where are these boring industry buyers actually hanging out? LinkedIn, this is 40% of your distribution effort right here. And I'm not talking about just posting on your company page that nobody follows. Share your content in relevant industry groups. Tag your industry connections in the comments. Start a LinkedIn newsletter. Publish a LinkedIn Pulse. LinkedIn is where B2B decision makers actually live. Use it. The next place is industry publications. 30% of your effort should go here. Trade magazines, industry newsletters, association websites, partner publications. These people are already reading this stuff. So get your content in front of them. Most publications are desperate for quality content. So reach out, offer to contribute. It's free distribution to your exact audience. The next is email, which should be about 20%. Your customer list, industry email lists, cold outreach to relevant contacts, newsletter swaps with complementary businesses. Email still works in boring industries because these aren't impulse buyers checking Instagram. They're checking their inbox. And the final one is direct distribution, and it will be the final 10%. Your sales team should be sharing relevant articles with prospects. Customer service should be sending helpful content when people ask questions. Include case studies in your proposals. Print out your best guides for conference handouts. Make it part of your sales process. Now, here's the secret sauce of the multiplication strategy. One piece of content becomes a blog post, a LinkedIn article, an email series, sales one-pager, a conference presentation, and even a webinar topic. One piece of content becomes 6 assets. Never create content once. Repurpose it 10x. Your competitors are creating content and publishing it just once. You're going to dominate by making every piece work 10 times harder. All right, let's talk about the secret weapon for boring industries, detailed case studies. So why do case studies absolutely dominate in industrial content? Because buyers need proof it works. These are risk-averse industries. Nobody's getting promoted for trying something new that fails. They want precedent. CFOs need ROI evidence. They're not approving a $2 million project based on your brochure. And the technical teams, they need the implementation details. They need to know this actually works in the real world. So here's the perfect case study formula that converts. First, the situation. This is your problem setup. Who's the company? What problem did they discover? What was it costing them? And here's the kicker. What did they try before you that failed? This builds credibility because it shows you're not the first call, you're the right call. Second is the process. Walk them through the solution, your initial assessment, how you design the solution, the implementation steps, and don't skip the challenges you overcame. That's where trust gets built. Perfect case studies are boring. Real case studies with real challenges, now those convert. Third is the results. This is where you bring the proof. Downtime reduced by X%. Costs saved, actual dollar amounts. Efficiency improved by Z%. And show the ROI timeline. When did they break even? When did they start making money? Real numbers matter. Fourth is the details. This is what separates amateur case studies from professional ones. What specific equipment did you use? What were the technical specifications? What compliance standards did you achieve? What lessons did you learn? Technical teams read this section first, give them the meat. Real numbers, real companies, real results, no fluff, and no marketing speak. Now, here's the real, the truth. One good case study is worth more than 100 blog posts because a blog post tells them you know your stuff. A case study proves you've done it before and you can do it again. All right, enough theory. Here's your 90-day content domination plan. This is exactly what we deploy for every boring industry client that we work with. Month number 1 is all about foundation, 12 pieces total. Week 1, you're cranking out 3 problem solution articles. Week 2, 3 cost ROI pieces. Week 3, 3 technical guides. Week 4, 3 comparison articles. You're building the base layer of content that targets every stage of the buying process. Month 2 is where you build your authority. Another 12 pieces of content. Weeks 5 and 6, you're publishing 6 case studies. This is where you prove you've done this before. Then weeks 7 and 8, you're creating 6 ultimate guides. Those deep, comprehensive pieces that position you as the absolute expert in your space. Month 3 is expansion. 12 more pieces. Weeks 9 and 10, hit 6 regulation and compliance pieces. Every industry has regulations. Every regulation is a content opportunity. Weeks 11 and 12 create 6 seasonal or timely pieces. Winter maintenance or summer challenges or whatever's relevant to your industry right now. Now, here's the production system that makes this actually happen. Mondays are for keyword research and outlines. You're planning the week. Tuesday and Wednesday, well, you're writing. Thursday is editing and optimization, making sure it's actually good and SEO optimized. Friday is publishing and distribution. Get it out into the world. So let me give you some real examples for oil and gas skids. Why skid-mounted systems fail in extreme temperatures. Custom versus pre-engineered skids, the true cost comparison. Pressure control skid maintenance, complete technical guide. The emergency shutdown systems for process skids, what you need. And API 650 compliance for skid-mounted storage systems. See how specific those are? Not our skid services, not about us, real problems, real solutions. 3 pieces per week, no excuses. And I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if you don't have a writer. It's not always about resources. Sometimes it's about resourcefulness. Boring industries need consistency more than perfect content. Your competitors are publishing once a quarter. You're going to bury them. All right, let's talk about measuring content success. Most boring industry companies are celebrating 10,000 page views just like they won the Super Bowl. Cool. Did any of those views write you a check? No? Well, then how'd that work for you? First, the vanity metrics. Ignore these completely. Page views means nothing. Time on site? Who cares? Social shares? Great. Karen from accounting shared it. Comments? This isn't a lifestyle blog. And none of these pay your bills. So here's what you actually track, the money metrics. Organic leads generated. How many people filled out a form because of your content? That's real. Content-assisted conversions. How many deals touch your content before closing? Track it. Keywords. Ranking page 1. Are you actually showing up when people searched? Because if you're on page 2, you're invisible. Sales qualified leads from content. Not tire kickers, real prospects with real budgets. Revenue attributed to content. And this is the big one. How much money did your content actually generate? Now, here's how you track it. The attribution model. Every lead gets tagged with 3 things. First touch. What content brought them in? Was it the turbine failure article? That's your top of funnel winner. Last touch. What content converted them? Maybe it was your case study. If it is, that's your closer. And then multi-touch. What content did they consume along the way? Because in boring industries, nobody reads 1 article and buys. They read 5, 7, 10 pieces before they ever call you. So here's your realistic success timeline. Month 1, you're hitting 500 organic visitors. It's not sexy, but it's a start. Month 3, you're at 2,000 organic visitors. Google's starting to trust you. Month 6, you're at 5,000 visitors and generating 25 leads. Now it's working. Month 12, you're at 15,000 visitors and you're generating 40 plus leads per month. Now you're dominating. Here's the thing about boring industries. They have longer sales cycles. Someone doesn't read your article about turbine maintenance and buy a $500,000 service contract the next day. It takes months, sometimes a year or longer. So track accordingly, be patient, but be consistent. If you're expecting instant results, you're in the wrong game. Your industry isn't too boring for content. You're just creating the wrong content. Every expensive problem in your industry is a content opportunity. Every technical question is a keyword. Every successful project is a case study. Your competitors are writing about company picnics. You can dominate by actually helping customers. Now, if you want us to create this content that actually converts for your boring industry, go to marketingillumination.com/search-engine-optimization and fill in the form. Stop apologizing for your industry and start dominating it. I'm James Kotz. Your industry isn't boring, your content is. See you next week.